Hi there, this is Mr. Sand, and this is our Unit 2 review. Um, I want to tell you that this exam is really, really easy. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, every teacher says that. It's really, really easy. Yeah, right. This one actually is really easy. There's only a few things that I can ask you questions about. It's actually it's more like a big quiz rather than a test. I can't really ask you about the diseases. Those are that because that's just pure memorization there. I'm not going to ask you about the diseases that we've talked about. I just use those diseases as an example for us to look at the different layers of organization. And hopefully you did that in your different projects. You've got those two projects that we did. We did the disease project and we did the disease puzzler as well. So that should have just been exercising you in the levels of organization. We're only going to be really grading you in this test over the digestive system. So make sure you know all the different aspects of the digestive system. So that's one thing that you make sure that you are definitely going to know in detail what the digestive system is, how food passes through it, the different organs of it. So make sure you know the organs. Make sure you know what they do, functions. What else should you know? You should know, organs and what they do. Really, that's it. That's the entire digestive system. So, like for example, what does the liver secrete? What kind of digestive juice does it secrete? And it's bile. So make sure you know something like that kind of level of detail. Make sure you know that. Know what bile does. Bile breaks down mostly fats in the small intestine, and it's stored in the gallbladder. Those kinds of details. That's how closely detailed, you should be studying for the digestive system there. Okay, so that's the digestive system. I'll show you a photo of that, and you can go through. I recommend going through all of your notes. So this is just online right here. This is us going, and you just go through the entire thing. Just look through this again. It just really helps. Make sure you know all the bolded words, the diaphragm, the stomach, all these bolded words right here, the gallbladder, the pancreas, large intestine. This is pretty cool. This website is amazing. You should definitely check this website out with a 3D model system of the digestive system. I never had that when I was younger, and I wish I did, because it's so good. All right, back to the modules. So the digestive system, that's something you need to have down pretty well. You also need to know the tissues. Okay? Know these tissues. You need to know the epithelial and the examples of that. Epithelial is epi. It's like the outside, the kind of like the superficial stuff of the body. So this is like skin and hair and intestine lining, kidney tubules. These are epithelial tissues. Now, nervous tissue is the stuff that has these are kind of like brain cells. These are also nerves within their body. They're very, very specific to those real two kinds of things. So now that we go on to connective tissue, make sure you know what this is. Connective, that's not so straightforward. Connective's kind of weird, actually, because it's got bone, blood, ligaments, tendons, and cartilage. I would guess that ligaments, tendons, and cartilage would belong in the connective tissue, but bone and blood? That seems a bit weird, and it's true. It is connective tissue. At least we call it that. Okay, and the last one is muscle tissue. And a question I like to ask is about the heart muscle, or the heart. What is that made out of? It's made out of muscle tissue. You can even eat heart just like you'd eat muscle. It kind of tastes a lot like any kind of muscle. I don't know, it kind of tastes like steak if you're interested. I like to have heart on Valentine's Day, FYI. You should try it. Okay, those are the cell tissues. You can look at this video, that might help. This website also helps. All of these things in here give you lots of extra help. But the main thing that you're going to be tested over are the text like this. And you can take a look at the workbook and see the questions there. The quizzes almost identically mirror those those workbook questions. So take a look at the workbook questions, and if you have any questions over those, study those. Ask me those before the test. Let's see here. Now, the main difficult topic, and this is why I separated it into two tests. I was originally going to have Unit 1 covering these last few modules, but I decided to split it up because mitosis and meiosis are so confusing to a lot of intro biology students. So let's take a look at mitosis, and I recommend you going through all of this, but I recommend you definitely taking a look at mitosis. Okay, you're going to need to know what cells look like in different stages of mitosis, and you're going to need to describe what those things are. So here, once you see that these are condensed, you should be thinking, okay, if DNA is condensed, that is prophase, definitely prophase. We don't go into the difference between pro-metaphase and prophase, so these two really are the same as far as we're concerned. These two phases right here. Let's see if we can find, let's see, prophase there. Okay. Metaphase is a very easy one to spot. Metaphase is when they all meet on the metaphase plate in the middle, and then they get pulled apart after that in anaphase. So the three main phases are prophase, metaphase, and anaphase. Telophase is another phase where they're splitting apart, but this is all part of mitosis. And notice how the chromosomes are aligned. That's very different than how the chromosomes are aligned in meiosis. So mitosis, the chromosomes are lined up like, well, you can see it. They're all lined up on top of each other. Okay, I want to show you this right here. Okay, so for mitosis, the biggest differences between mitosis and meiosis, I'm going to make a little chart right here and show you the differences between these two things. So let's talk about mitosis, and meiosis. And this is something you definitely need to know for the test. Mitosis, and let's use teal for meiosis. Okay, so for mitosis, first thing you need to know is that mitosis happens in all of your body cells. They call them somatic cells. Somatic or body cells. So in all the cells of your body, except maybe a few brain cells, this is how cells divide. It's mitosis. Meiosis only happens in sex cells. This is sperm and egg. That's the only place where meiosis happens. Okay? Otherwise, cell division, you should be thinking mitosis. This is a cell division here, yes, but it only happens in the sex cells. And there's a reason for that we're going to come across soon here. Okay, now I was just talking about the chromosomes and how they line up. So the chromosomes all line up on top of each other like this, and they get pulled apart. You should know by what. They're getting pulled apart by these little rope-like things right here. What are those things? I'm going to let you look those up. These little rope-like things, and they have something over here that's pulling all of them together. It's pulling all of these chromosomes apart, I should say. So like all of these chromosomes are getting pulled over there. That chromosome is pulled over that. Chromosome is pulled over there. That chromosome is pulled over this. And then this chromosome is pulled over here. This one's over here, and so forth. This is how it's divided. Now, these chromosomes right here are identical. They're genetically identical, absolutely carbon copies of each other. So when these things divide, okay, when this thing right here divides, and it gets split apart from over there to over there, each side of this is an identical copy of each other. So the amount of information does not change if they get split apart. Meaning, like, if this is split apart over here and turned into its own cell, and this little part right here is pulled over on this side and turned into its own separate cell, the cells, each one of those cells, has the same amount of information as all of this cell right now, because there's no new information that's being lost when one goes to that side and the other one goes to this side. Okay, so the mitosis is a way of dividing. It's a way of division, cellular division, without loss of information. So it's division without loss of information. Loss of info. Now, meiosis is very different, and I'm going to show you the slide on here looking at meiosis.